Hello, everyone. My name is Marcela Arrieta, and I welcome you to our very, very first Gift of Giving chat here at Global Gift Foundation USA. I am honored to be here with you to share space with you and to not only share information, but also hear from our founder, Alina Peralyta, which will be joining us very soon, and our very, very special guest that we have today, Miss Nitzia Chama. She is a super successful actress, TV host, and philanthropist. So, without further ado, let's welcome our friend Nitzia Chama. Hola, Bella. How are
Hi,
you?
how you doing?
Good,
Excited to
good,
be
good.
here. Yes.
No, thank you so
So
much
nice
for
to see
being
you.
likewise, and thank you for being our kickoff madrina. Oh my God, right?
Woo-hoo! I'm super excited to be the first guest de madrina. So we're going to start with the right foot, como con el pie derecho, como decimos en español.
See, let it be a Spanglish event, right? Yeah.
Yes, I'm in Mexico, so I want to say thank you so much for having me. I know that it's going to be a very special and moving conversation, especially because I really believe in this organization, and I want to be part of all your events, and I want to be part of everything that you're doing because I know that it's benefit, it's helping our community in so.
Oh, I think we lost Nitzia somewhere along the line, right? I think it's the energy. She's so emotional. She's so giving. I know that many of you can feel her giving hard, her sincerity and her authenticity coming through. Nitzia, among other great, great influential people, have been so helpful with all of the initiatives at Global Gift Foundation USA, and we are eternally thankful to have Nitzia be our madrina. So while we wait for Nitzia to rejoin us, and also our founder Alina Peralyta, I will share just a little bit more of who Global Gift Foundation is and what we strive to do. Global Gift Foundation USA, we are a 501c3 based in Los Angeles, and we work tirelessly to create equality, not just on a local level, but on a global level, hence the name Global, right? Global Gift Foundation USA. We unite with many celebrities, with many influencers, business leaders, philanthropists, and many people who are more than grateful to share their voice, to share their name, and to share their platform to bring awareness to this wonderful organization. We do have both ladies in, so let's welcome them both. Hello, ladies. How are you? Oh my God, you have your Christmas tree up. Oh my God.
That looks so pretty. Hello, I am.
Hi guys. Hi Marcela. Hi Nitzia. I miss you guys.
But
We
it feels
miss
like
you.
we're like close, with social media. I feel like I'm seeing you every single day. I'm always like liking and commenting like all the pictures. So we're really close. Even though we're far,
Yes,
we're really close.
you're close, but
Yeah.
it's still so far, too far.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for making the time. And I was mentioning to Nitia earlier, Alina, that she is our kickoff madrina. This is our very first gift of
Yes.
giving chat that we'll be having. Hopefully, many more to come. So
Yeah.
we feel super honored to have Nitia here and to have her be our kickoff madrina.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nitzia. I'm so glad that you're actually a part of this because I remember when we first met last year. It was just so, so lovely just meeting you and talking to you and just your energy and obviously we're all about energies here. And Marcela, I mean, the queen of it all. So just having both of you ladies means a lot to me.
And you bring up a
Oh,
wonderful
thank you so
point,
much for.
Alina. You bring up a wonderful point, Alina. With energy comes, with responsibility comes power. So with this role of being involved as the founder of Global Gift Foundation USA, and being so involved in the betterment of humanity, how would you define power, Alina? And the same question for you, Nitzia. How would you define this role of power? How do you define it, Alina? And how do you define it, Nitzia?
Well, I think, power is a very powerful and dangerous thing, in many ways, because people use it for the good and others use it for the bad. So I think realizing that and taking the role of being individuals that use whatever little power we have for the good, I think is important. And I think we've used our platform, which is our power platform, to give back. That's always been the role that we, and me personally, always wanted to take, when I knew that there was a need in so many parts of the world and our communities. So I like to say that I use whatever little power I have for the good, and to better um, our our humanity around us, to better myself, to better my families and those around me, and hopefully whatever little good I do, that it could empower somebody else to do the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is so powerful on its own. It's how you use the power. I always like to think that I'm a Jedi, minus the lightsaber. You either choose to go to the dark side, or you choose to walk the path of a Jedi, which is using that power to harness good, right? So, Ms. Nitzia, how would you define power?
I will say exactly the same that just Alina said, because it was so beautiful and like really like well like put together. But you know what, power, I always have like kind of like I don't know, like travel with that word, because we always think like, oh, power means fame, money, like in a, I don't know, like power in a maybe like bad way when you don't know how to use your power. Because if you want to really be powerful in a community, I will say that you have to be the best version of yourself, and that you have to be able to give back to your community, because that's powerful for like a powerful person for me. Like, oh my God, they're improving their communities, they're doing something to provide education, resources, and they're doing different initiatives for the I don't know, like society. So that's very powerful for me. So power for me means love. When you love what you do, when you love your neighbors, your family, your friends in a very genuine way, that's powerful, because that's the truth of this life. Because sometimes we feel, or we think like, oh, as soon as I get, or as I hit in like that position in my
Oh, I think she's going in and out the connection, but yes, I completely agree
job,
with.
or when
There
I
you
get
go.
more money in my bank account, or when I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I was saying that power for me is to be able to help others, because when you have that power, you can make a like powerful community.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like you can
I
bring more people to your side to benefit others. So that's power
yeah.
for me.
And I think those are great points, Alina. I know that just from knowing you on a personal level, and seeing you, all the work that you do as a philanthropist, and just making sure that Global Gift Foundation USA continues to do what it was meant to do. It's really bringing about that heart, that power of that heart, and utilizing the platform in a creative way. I think what Nitzia hit on was so important, that people like Nitzia allowing themselves for us to utilize their platform and their influence is so important. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on that, Alina.
Well, kind of going back to about the whole power thing, and how we tie that with the foundation, because I think I kind of got confused with your question right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think with what's been happening, this last, 2 years, and you know, so much has been brought to the surface, and so much is much more highlighted with all the circumstances that's happened because of the pandemic. We've always knew that there was a huge issue um, at hand with why we started Global Gift Foundation. Um, so I think uh, so many foundations were affected because of the pandemic, and I mean, our foundation was affected tremendously. I can't even begin where to start, but I always felt we still had the role to continue doing something as little as possible. We just can't be defeated and just just give up and throw the towel and be like, you know what, it's over. We can't do anything, but we can't. It's about using again that
Right.
power that we have, the resources that we have. I mean, like for example, for our upcoming initiative, I don't know how many doors I've been knocking. Be like, you know what? Don't give me donations. Cash donations. Give me a toy. Give me something. You know what I mean? The fact that we're able to use our resources to um, help our communities is important. So I think I messed up the question that you were asking.
No, this is meant to be a conversation.
Like,
I think I mentioned it to Nitzia earlier. It's let's imagine that three of us are having our little cafecito or maybe our little wine, and we're having this intimate conversation, because what we really want to transmit to you, the viewers, to you who is considering donating your hard earned money or resources, is, we're here for you, and we're here to be of service to others. And through this wonderful organizations, through the platform of not just Alina, but the platform of Nitzia, we're able to give back, and we're able to transform lives and create better tomorrows. And that really brings us to the question: is why is it so important to us to give back? What's happening in our minds? What's happening in our heart? Why is there this drive, this need to? Yes, we've been going through on a global level for 2 years because of the pandemic, so many hardships, so much loss, but yet we find it somewhere within ourselves to keep pulling through and saying, okay, I'm doing good. I'm healthy. My family's doing good. They're healthy. But my neighbor, but those children, they need help. What's going through your mind, Alina? Why is it there that drive to give back?
I think it's like you can't leave your back. You can't turn your back on one person. I'm the kind of person that if I see somebody at the corner asking for $1 or just food, when they have their rótulo saying, I don't want money, I want food.
Yes.
Like, how can you turn your back away from those individuals? So for me, I've always felt that if I help one person, you know, it's going to come triple to me, and I'm going to be able to help more individuals.
Mhm.
So I've always felt like um, if it's my neighbor, if it's a friend, if it's a complete stranger, off the street, I have this, I get this horrible feeling inside of me that if I turn my back on that person, like, how are they going to get through the night?
Mhm.
I think like just it eats inside of me, I think. I think I hate having that feeling of wondering, I wonder if they're okay. Are they sleeping tonight? Or do they have a meal? Were they able to get a bottle of water for, $1, that the only dollar that they got today? So
Mhm.
I think it's just that feeling of dejar nadie, en la calle, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and just being able, to put ourselves in their shoes for once. I think we're so lucky, we're so blessed. And especially this whole year, I've realized how blessed I am, my family is health wise, because so many people didn't have that. Weren't that lucky. And, um, and I think it's in us. It has to be in us to find a way to help others in one small way, whatever that you can, even giving a smile to someone. Um, how are you going to impact one person that day? And I think that's one thing that we should probably always leave with at the end of the day. Who did you, what life did you, whose life did you impact today?
Yeah.
It could just be the most simplest thing. Again, we don't, it's not about, you don't have to be rich to be a philanthropist. You don't have to be famous to be an activist. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
we always should leave the world, you know, better than the way it was. It was. Is that como, is that the el dicho?
Yes, yes. That is so right, you know, and I think many of us are driven to do that, and we know for a fact that Nitzia is a walking heart. Okay, she is this beautiful and amazing walking heart, and I think that's why Nitzia resonates so much with our mission, Alina, with Global Gift Foundation USA's mission, because we do see her posts, we see how involved she's always been in giving back. We never have to ask her more than twice. Before we ask, she's like, yes, let's do this. I'm like, yes, thank you. So Nitzia,
His
what is
heart is
that
always in
drive?
the right place.
Yes, right. Where does that drive come from, Nitzia? Because Alina hit it right on. And that is actually what Alina shared. That is what Alina is. That is what she transmits. But what makes you give back, Nitzia?
To be honest, I feel very blessed because so many people have helped me in my life. So I always pray for those people, and I always remember, like every single day, I'm trying to pray and say, like, okay, Nitya, you have to count your blessings, and you have to be there for other people all the time. Because I remember when I was in LA like 7 years ago, asking for recommendation letters for my green card and for everything. I i was just like talking to somebody, and he said, like, oh, you know what, I can help you. I'm gonna write you the recommendation letter, and I'm gonna do this and that, and I can like introduce you with this manager and this agent. And I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. But then he said, like, but I'm gonna ask you for a favor. So every time a person comes to you and say, Nitzia, can you help me with this? Remember this moment, because you need something too. You're asking for help. So everyone needs something in our lives. So it's not like, oh, I get there and then I'm gonna forget about like everyone, right? Or about like the people who was like in at the beginning with me. So this is a conversation that I have like all the time with friends and families. People always come to me and say, like, Nitzia, please, you have to learn how to say no. And I'm like, then I'm not gonna be myself. I like to say yes all the time, even though sometimes it gets complicated because I don't have like, I don't know, like 50 hours a day, but I'm trying my best to say yes and to be, as Alina said, sometimes you don't have to give the money. Sometimes you don't have to be the richest one, like, oh, I'm gonna donate this house and this $1 million or something. But now with these kind of platforms, just like spreading the word, sharing the content, sharing what's going on with our community, sharing what's happening with the kids, with the single moms, with the abuelitos. When we see positive content on social media, immediately, like, there's something in us, like, I don't know, for me, it's like I need to do something. And I've been reading a lot, like, why it's so important to help others and to try to improve our communities. And it's something that it's in our bodies. It's actually a scientific fact. When you help, it's helping you to improve your mental health. So
Yes,
as soon as you help, you feel better. As Alina said, you go to bed and it's like, oh my god, like maybe I gave away a cafecito for someone in la cafeteria, or I pay for someone's groceries or something. If you can do something, I promise you, you're gonna feel much, much better. And at the end of the day, it's not only for them, but it's also for us. How do you want to feel as a human being? How useful do you want to feel at the end of the day? Like, what did I do today that makes me feel a better person? So it's not only like, oh, I'm gonna change your life. My dad, we're used to go to like give some toys away every single year here in Mexico, in Veracruz, and every time we go to those places, I was crying so bad in the car, and my dad like one day came to me and said like, listen, I understand that we're not gonna be able to change their lives. Like you're not gonna come and just like magically something is gonna happen and you're gonna change their lives, but at least you're creating memories with them. You're doing something very special. They're gonna remember this day. They're gonna play with this toy for maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe a year, and that's gonna make you feel better when we get home. So every time I can, like I get the chance to share something with someone, even a smile, a coffee, a conversation, a virtual Facebook Live or something, it makes me feel better. So even though I want to say like, you know what, maybe I'm not going to be able, I always say yes, because it's the way that I'm saying thank you to my heart, to my soul, that I'm saying, okay, we're doing good as a community. We're doing good as a human beings, because that's part of us. And I think when we're helping someone else, we're healing in some way, because we cannot be just like, oh, that's not part of my problem. It is. And even though if we can just help just in a simple, like very little way, we're doing something for us and for them. And that's the whole point of like being and like sharing this world together. So I really admire and I appreciate everything that you're doing. And I want to be part of this team, even though people say like, please say no to so many causes, please say no to so many organizations. I'm like, I don't know how to say it. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm gonna try to do it as much as I can.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. That reminds me of what Alina said at the beginning is, everything is, it goes back to a certain level of energy. And it's this thing that a lot of people know, like they define it as karma, or for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's very important to give, because that leaves room to receive. So the more we receive, the more we can give. And the more we give, the more we receive. So there's always that cycle, going back to what Nitzia was mentioning earlier, that this gentleman helped you, and I'm sure that you were able to help that person along the way. And it's this little beautiful chain. And as a matter of fact, I was one of those children growing up in Boyle Heights who had nothing throughout the year. And I always remember there was this day close to Christmas where my mom would walk me to the fire station, and a line of hundreds of children my age. We were 4 or 5 years old. And I remember the anticipation. So I get emotional, because it's those memories that, Nitzia, you were talking about. And I got up to Santa Claus and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting a Barbie. And just holding that Barbie and just having those memories is so important. So I know that our upcoming initiative, we really are focusing on those, on the children. So why, Alina? Why is it so important that we do our best for these children?
Like you said, I think it goes back down to, you remember this one specific moment in your childhood, and and it's about creating that for them as well. Um, and I think it'll be something that can instill in them, where later on when they, grow older, how are they going to give back to their own community? Because they'll probably be, thriving kids, in the world later. And and I think with them having, with them being empowered because of whatever support comes their way, they will, remember, and how are they going to create that circle again and make a memorable moment in other children's lives and other families. So it's a circle of life, I think, with how we want things to be repeated. Well, hopefully we don't want things to be repeated. I mean, I would love to see a world where none of this would ever have to happen again,
Right.
where we would have to create such initiatives to support families and children, and have, this global equality across the board for everyone. But but I think it's about, creating that for them.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, there's certain things that you remember as a child growing up, and creating memorable holidays is key. I mean, my kids, they love Christmas. Like once they start hearing the Christmas music, there's a spirit that wakes up inside all children.
Yes.
Oh, and it's beautiful because they just don't know what's out there yet.
Yes.
They're just living in this one little world where the
Yeah.
holiday is just something so special that they're going to receive. They don't take anything away. We're giving them, and they're receiving, and I think that's the most beautiful gift that they feel. So every child should feel that.
So Alina, tell us about maybe going, if you were to choose a moment in time in your childhood during the holiday seasons, what was that memorable memory, and how did that really empower you to do what you're doing now, not just with your family, because I feel that we apply this not just towards our children, our nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters, you name it, but in this line of work, how did that particular moment in time, how has that empowered you to do what you're doing now?
I think it was just like you, like when you remember your first Barbie, you're getting a Barbie. And I remember there was this one holiday when I was young, and I probably could have been I think maybe 9 years old or so. And we had a family friend who just brought us all, my sister and I, brought us like all these, toys and everything. And I just remember I got a toy that I actually wanted, I don't even think I put a Christmas list, because I don't think growing up we never did the Christmas
I
list.
know.
But I might have mentioned it to my mom or something, and I got that one toy, which was a strawberry shortcake doll that you would press her
Mm.
stomach, and her breath would smell like strawberries. And I still have that doll to this day. My mom has it in Nicaragua, and I just remember just that feeling because I never let go of her. That same day, we went to Griffith Park and did
Mm-hmm.
the little train that goes around the whole park, and it was just such a memorable 2 days, like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that it always brings that joy, to me.
Yes.
So it's like I want that joy to be felt among so many other children. So
Yeah.
I know my kids can feel that. Like, why can't other kids have that right to feel that joy too?
And you're drawing from that memory and
Yeah.
creating better tomorrows, and that's what it's all about here today. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Nitzia, question, la pregunta del millón. Who is a philanthropist that you look up to? Who is someone that you say, oh my gosh, I want to grow up to be just like that person? Of course, keeping the Nitzia a personality. We don't want that to go anywhere. Okay, Nitzia? So who is that person that you look up to?
I mean, there's so many people that I admire and that I get inspired by. I'm gonna start saying like Madre Teresa de Calcutta, because I admire that she was always helping people. She was always showing us that it doesn't matter who is next to you. You have to be the same person with with everyone, right? I also admire Dolores Huerta, Eva Longoria, all of you, and that's very important because now that Alina just shared that memory from Nicaragua, I remember that I wasn't really attached to toys, but I grew up as a professional ballerina. So I grew up here in Mexico, but we had the chance to go to Cuba, and when I saw the situation, I was like 12 years old, and I didn't get the part about communism and like all the restrictions that the Cubans have in those days, and they still have. But I mean, for me as a kid or maybe like teenager, was very difficult to see that they had so many limitations. So I remember that I have my luggage, and I was very like, I don't know, like kind of like a brat, saying like, oh, I want to change my points and my, like, the shoes, right? The point shoes and the tights and the leotards, and we always wanted more and more and more. And I remember that when we were changing, like for like to do a presentation in Cuba, the ladies came to me and say like, oh my god, your tights, your leotards. And for me, we're like, they're like horrible, they're like my, like whatever, right? So I was just like throwing them and giving them everything that I have in my luggage, and they were so happy. And I remember that my luggage was empty, but I was so full, and I was sharing that with my friends, with the dancers, that, oh my god, we're so blessed to have our parents, to have a different kind of situation in our countries that allow us to have more, and sometimes stuff that we don't even need, but because we have this, I don't know, like way to live, that, oh, I want the new iPhone, I want the new whatever, I want the thing that my neighbor has. So that was a very difficult but very moving lesson that I learned. And I've been always very appreciative and humble, because my dad show us how to share with everyone. He grew up with so many restrictions and so many limitations in his house, and he's always like trying to make us remember, like, you are not better than nobody, you have nothing more than somebody. If you have a cake, you have to share with everyone, because if not, you're gonna get sick, and you're gonna be very bored, just like, oh my god, I ate the whole cake and now I feel bad. But you're gonna feel so good if you share it with so many people, and they're gonna be very happy, and you're gonna be happy. So I always see that in my dad. He gives everything first to everyone before him. So I always learn that if they go first and there's something left for me, it's gonna be fine, and we're gonna be happy, and we're gonna enjoy it together, and I'm not gonna be sick by myself, just like alone in one room, like all crying or something. So I always want to share everything, and not only my material things, but I always like to share experiences, memories,
Yeah.
moments
Oh,
with
yes.
I'm always like, oh yeah, let's do that, and let's get together. Yeah, let's do it, and let's bring the toys like to the kids. Yeah, let's go in a trip with the family, with the kids, with this.
Yeah.
So more than I think, like when I give something, it's not like I'm giving something; they're giving me the opportunity to create that memory for me and for my family and for my loved ones, because I always share these kind of moments. When someone talks about like, oh yeah, have you been in Cuba? I'm always like, oh yeah. And I remember that we have to share, that we have to be conscious about what we have, that we have to be very thankful and appreciate the things that we have, because we have no more than we deserve, but more than we need.
Yeah, it's
And
an
because of
abundance.
exactly. So I think
Yeah.
that we only have to learn how to live maybe with less, but if we have a little bit more than others, we have to share that. Because if God is giving us that, we have to share it, and just like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, we have to give them, and to give us the opportunity to feel better at the end of the day.
Yes, I agree.
Amen. Preach, Nitzia, preach. Yeah, that is so beautiful. And I heard,
Dice Nitzia.
yeah, right. I heard something very similar not long ago, and it goes to the analogy that Nitzia was sharing with us of being able to share, but also receiving simultaneously. It's when you plant or a seed, you're planting that seed, and out of that seed, you're not going to get one seed. You're going to get multiple seeds, assuming that we plant, let's say, an apple tree. How many apples will you have? But the moment we stop giving, that means that we are holding on to the seed.
Yeah.
And if there's only a seed, what are you going to live off of? That's when we begin to, and this analogy is we begin to die on the inside, and not literally die, but there's this need. Why am I here? What is my purpose? why do I feel maybe sad, or why do I feel maybe depressed or anxious? It could be so many reasons. But at the end of it all, the moment that we start sharing, the moment that we start planting those seeds and reaping those seeds, everything goes right.
Yeah.
So we urge everyone that it doesn't matter if you have $1, $5, if you have a toy from the 99-cent store, it doesn't really matter. The kids are not going to say, oh, this is from the no. All those children want, speaking from experiences, we just want to experience a something, right? We want to create those memories. So you could head over to globalgiftfoundationusa.org, click on the donate. If you want to donate toys, send us a message, direct message, and we'll make sure that those toys get to exactly where they need to go. But before we head out,
that people could drop off, especially out here in the valley. We have 2 locations, F45 in Sherman Oaks, which is on Ventura Boulevard, and Beignet Box in Studio City. So we have those 2 locations, and we have other partners, Ole Soccer Club, that a lot of soccer families are also reuniting to donate toys from their teams. So we're very excited. And Spin and Give, another partner of ours. So we're grateful the fact that so many people are, signing up to partner with us who are hosting their own toy drive to be able to, help create those memories for these children. So we're very grateful for that.
And before we head off, Alina, if you don't mind elaborating just a little bit more about the upcoming initiative, the Wonderland of Hope, when it's going to be, and what the goal is for Global Gift Foundation USA.
Yeah, so so this is the Wonderland of Hope toy drive. We've partnered once again with Linwood Partners Educational Foundation and the Linwood School District to support 200 families and their children. We worked with them during the spring. We did a food raiser where we were able to provide meals and food baskets and COVID necessity items for 100 families. So this year we decided, let's double it. Let's do 200 families. And this time it's going to be obviously focused more on the children by providing them toys. We're also going to be providing hot meals on the day of with our partnership with World Central Kitchen. So we're very grateful for their support once again. And also Patty Rodriguez, who is our honorary chair. She's originally from the city of Linwood. And Little Libros will also be donating books for many of the younger children. So we're very, very happy and excited about that. But again, this is an initiative that it's all about just bringing joy to these children and their families, and I think, especially for parents who are not able to provide these little gifts for their own children, the fact that we can help and, step in and do that for them and means a lot more to us as well. So
That is so important.
Hoping that everybody joins in with us, joins forces, and donates as many toys as possible for all these kids and teens. We have teens up to 7 years old. So, we're providing them with gift cards because, teens nowadays, they like to choose their own, their own stuff, and we get that.
Yeah. Well, if that's not reason enough to give back, then, there's many other ways, of course, but we want to be able to help and to serve 200 families and the children and make those memories, right? So it's super important to us. But thank you so very much, ladies, for being here with us today. I think Nitzia got a little bit disconnected, but we'll wait just a few more seconds, see if she can connect. There she goes. She is in Veracruz right now. So we're super grateful that she was able to make time for us. But any other words, Alina?
No, just grateful for you, Marcela, to have put this together and bringing Nitzia on board once again with us, and that let's finish 2021 strong and making again memorable moments for these families and giving them hope that 2022 will be a much brighter year for them, and for all of us.
Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly. And we want to thank everyone who's tuning in now live and who will be tuning in later. Thank you so much for connecting with us on Facebook and on YouTube. Honestly, this is something very new to us, and I know that with the help of everyone, Patricia out there, and Vilma, and of course Alina, Nitzia, thank you so much for all the love and all the support. We're all ears. Any feedback, any suggestions, we're here. Alba says, I love my darling, you as me. There we go. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Alba. Thank you so very much. And may all the great ones bless your hearts and your souls, your families. Que no les haga falta nada, especialmente salud. That's so important. Harmony, abundance, prosperity, and let's do our part in giving back. This is, I can't really stress enough how important it is.
Un granito de arena.
Y un granito de arena. Pero sabes que de un granito de arena, that's enough to make the balance tilt. And I believe Mother Teresa mentioned something similar. And I remember from one of Nitzia's role models is, we can't change the world and we can't expect to change the world, but we could do our best. And that best is that little grain of salt. Start with your family, start with your neighbors. And by neighbors, I'm presuming that she's referring not just to our immediate neighbors, but who is in need.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's it right there. And yes, and it starts in our home.
Amen to that. Yeah. Yeah. So with that, thank you so much again for joining us. Remember, log in or visit the website globalgiftfoundationusa.org. There's a lot of awesome information, not just from our past initiatives, but also our upcoming initiatives. There is a great button there that says donate. So we encourage you and we thank you ahead of time for all of that. And again, let us know if we need to pick up the toys or your donations. We're more than happy to accommodate that. So thank you so much again. Alina, gracias. Nitzia, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Adios.
I missed your hugs.
Bye-bye.